Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Adam Sass. And today we are joined by two absolutely fabulous guests. First we have on Instagram, Blackgaycomicgeek.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hello,
Hi,
Michal.
thank you so much for joining us. And of course, needs no introduction, we also have the iconic
P.S. Madison, honey. New weave 22 inches. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It is a pleasure to have you here. Oh my gosh, this has been making our heads spin all day.
Listen, I'm so excited. I am really excited because y'all talking about the stuff that I like to talk about, honey. Listen, the weight of my heart is men and magic, baby.
P.S. I had no idea that you were like into X-Men until I saw that video clip of you standing Storm. And I was like, oh shit.
I am an X-Man, of course. Of course.
Well, there you go.
So, what I love about X-Men 97 is it's been like awakening these like sleeper ancients in people who have just been like, you're like, oh my God, everyone's just like waking up all over the planet.
I feel like I've been seeing so many like people that I didn't know like were into superhero stuff being like, oh my God, fucking I love this show. And it's made me really happy because I loved this cartoon so much as a kid, and like seeing everyone be excited about it again is so nice.
And not only just
Beautiful.
that, but I feel like the original 90s cartoon and even Spider-Man, that's the thing that started a lot of our nerddom.
Yeah.
And introduction into comic books in general. So have them bringing it back and this essentially being a season 6 of the original cartoon is bringing a lot of the OG fans of the 90s cartoon. Maybe you didn't keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the cartoons, but you kept up with the 90s cartoon. So it's bringing these people back.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't lost a step.
Yeah. Yes, I'm curious. What have you thought of the cartoon so far? Have you been like watching it?
I've enjoyed all the subtle changes that they've done and like to modernize it, even though it's 97.
Yeah.
Like I like the way they do the do. I like the intro and the way how it's full screen now, because I can watch it in my home theater. I because it's definitely up. It's up when I go in there. Like, you know, the surround sound is booming.
I was just gonna say that's the big difference for me from when I was watching it in my little basement as a kid. I was like, now I got that sound bar. So when it says X-Men with the electricity 97, the house shakes. And I just
yeah, it feels so good. I also get the opportunity to pick up because I don't know how old everybody in the room is. You know, I'll be 47 in October.
41.
And so, yeah,
40.
I'm 38.
Here we go. You know,
Okay.
So it picked up like where I would think, how old was I? 97? What was I? 19, it's 18, somewhere like that. So it picked up like right in my brain, like right from where it stopped. Like that Saturday morning after Professor X died, I was like, what's going on?
I will say it is bringing that up. It is a missed opportunity that they, instead of having it come on Wednesdays, it should come out on. They should have it come out on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Now,
You get
I
up and you
keep
say,
it.
Professor X is dead. Professor X is dead. What happened?
It's
and
like
then you're like,
dad is gone, right? He's like the dad.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just for me, I'm so excited for it. Like I love I love the updated graphics, like when they're spinning all the mutants around, telling everybody their powers. And I'm liking that they're delving, well, so far from what I've seen, that they're delving into the comics.
Yeah.
Like they're taking the story like based completely off of the comics.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
I have like loved that because I'm okay with the changes they do, right? Because like the Madeline Pryor stuff was condensed. I think it was like 10 issues of the comics. I thought they did it well, right? Like it was fine as a half hour. It worked. I liked it.
They did it so well.
Yeah.
It was like, and I had like, so like my exposure, like I was laughing about this before, but like my big exposure to like a big breadth of that comics was just I collected all of those like Fleet 92 X-Men cards. There was a whole bunch of like the cards were how I knew everybody. I just knew like I was like, oh, I know Forge from the card. I know Goblin Queen from the card, and so I was like, I couldn't wrap my head around that entire story until like yesterday when I saw the Goblin Queen episode, and I was like, oh, I got it. Okay, this all makes it all seems so much, and like it's like the writers on the show are so good. Like it's 30 minutes, and I got it. It's great.
See, me, I love that they simplified it a lot and made Cyclops less of an asshole. And compared to
I was going to ask you what you've been thinking, Michael.
Yeah, the way he was originally written, and like dating Madison Pryor, then leaving her as soon as he found out Jean came back. Like they simplified it a lot. But I do feel like because they only have 10 episodes, the pacing of it, I feel like that Madison Pryor thing could have at least been like 2 or 3 episodes. I feel like it was very, very rushed. Especially once they got to the end when she was like, call me Madeline. I was like, bitch, where you get that name from?
I
like,
was wondering that.
Like, where'd that come from? Like, so I definitely feel like they could have, because if you think about it, this was the 90s cartoon, like even think about the Dark Phoenix saga, that was 5 episodes. So I definitely feel like.
And I reference that shit all the time because I do think that was so well done. Like as a kid, right? That was like the drama. It was like, I have to see the next episode. Like I had my dad tape it on our VCR every Saturday because I wanted to be able to rewatch them.
So yeah, I definitely feel, I wish it was like at least 2 or 3 episodes, this whole Madeleine Pryor thing. We'll get into it when we get to this episode. I feel the same way about this. I feel like this episode is kind of rushed.
All right. TS, what were you gonna say?
I do feel like this last episode was kind of rushed too, but it was still a good rush.
That's
you
fair.
know, like with Jubilee in the game, and then once she gets inside the game, you know, then she sees her future self, and you know, we get to see her because isn't Jubilee Omega 11 mutant too?
I'm not sure because I feel like they've definitely added some to that like tier. Michael, do you know?
That rings a bell.
She's not officially Omega, but she's damn powerful. She could be.
Because whenever people underestimate her, it's like, well, but she literally is making bombs on her hands. Like,
yeah, but what? I mean, so to be Omega level, right? Don't you have to be able to control an element or something?
I think so. You might be. You're out nerding us.
To officially be Omega, that means you have no limit to your power. You have no upper limit to your power. And so right now she's not. Yeah, she's not there yet. She's still limited to like.
All right.
But if she trains a little bit more.
Okay. But her future self wasn't though, because that was her future self.
That was her. Future
she
self,
was like,
well, the razor blades of like they were just cut like it. That was like I again a lot of this stuff is like, oh my god, I never thought about you. I love Jubilee, but like I never thought about it in that way. And like this was just it's just been like opening up my mind about all of these characters I've known for 40 years. It's been such a like for me, it's just been so great to see. I know it's different for like folks who really know these comics, but like for me, who's just like sort of like a casual, like but strong enjoyer of this, it's just been like just making me think so much bigger about all of these people.
So we open. I got to talk about the opening though. I want to get everyone's opinion on the Magneto Rogue Gambit drama because I keep saying this reminds like my grandma and my mom had their telenovelas when I was a kid, and I had this, and this is still like that level of like soap opera drama, and I love it. TS, what do you think about the love triangle we got going on?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Cause it's so interesting because I'm thinking like if you go based off of the made for film movies, right? You see that they have like this disdain for each other, especially like when what was it? It was just X-Men, just the first X-Men when she touched him, right? And
Her hair.
you know, her hair turned. This is how we're doing the story like that. But then it's like I didn't know that her and Gambit had like this thing.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
The Rogue Gambit,
right?
Wait, Rogue
That was an original 90s cartoon.
Yeah, that was in the cartoon.
It was.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
shit, I got amnesia. You know what? It was. Yes, it was. Hold on. Let me stop for the fans that tear me up. Yes, it was. I remember the episode where she threw him out of the car.
Yep.
And he was kissing on her. Okay, so yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do know that. I meant I didn't know that Rogue and Magneto had a thing.
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
Apparently, it's been a thing.
Yeah, but it was. I only knew there was like the Age of Apocalypse comics I loved when I was younger, it was like alternate universe and they were married. That was the only time I knew about it, but apparently it is in a few issues of the comic. Michael, I don't know if you are.
Yeah, they never really went into the show, but in the comic, it did happen in like an alternate universe and things like that. They tease, or when they were in the Savage Land. But it seems like this show it's really like it's injecting way more of the comic book lore than the actual like show lore, because they even like contradicting some of the things that they did in the show. Because in the comics, Magneto's helmet protects him from Xavier's telepathy,
Right.
but if you watch the original cartoon, that wasn't the case. Like Xavier was still entering Magneto's mind even with the helmet on. So they're like, because they're diving so much more into the comics, they even contradicting the original show.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it.
All I know is they're being really messy, creeping around the mansion, doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like they're getting caught immediately, and
When
like to the point where I'm just like, Rogue wants Gambit to know,
right? Like, I mean, but if I were Rogue, I would also want Gambit and Magneto like fighting over me.
Yes, you would. Yes.
I mean, we saw the moment from last week's episode with all those times they got in the danger room. Like, come on, like
they're booking the danger room. That's fair. Just
multiple times a day.
Can I ask y'all a question? Doesn't Magneto give you granny vibes?
I think he looks like a hot queen to me. Like,
But you remember Granny when they were on Apocalypse on not Super Free, not
Oh, talking about Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness, yes, I can see that.
Wow.
I can see that. Granny, honey.
I can see that.
I thought you were saying kind of that more thing how like we talk about with Paul McCartney, where it's like, oh, some of these old rocker guys end up looking like kind of older lesbians.
It gave baby Granny. It gave Granny.
Yeah, okay.
The design doesn't look a little Granny Goodness, but I don't know. I like this new design of it. It's giving full cunt, and I'm here for it.
He's got the shoulders. Those shoulders get bigger
got the
every
shoulders
time.
out.
The glove,
he's drinking his teacup.
Those shoulders are like that Scary Movie 3 hat bit, where they just every time you see the shoulders again, it gets bigger.
And like the way he's like, when Gambit's like, "Ooh, well, if you're taking orders, I'll take blah blah," and he's like, "I don't take orders, I give orders," and I'm like, this bitch.
This cucked Gambit with him just cooking, and then just everyone, like even the kids knowing that he's getting just played around. It's just it's something very funny about it.
And I love that Morph keeps teasing him about it, because everybody knows that there's something going on with Gambit. On Magneto and Rogue. So it's just like, and that's the thing that I feel like we love about the X-Men. It's a soap opera. It's messy. It's drama. Like, and I think this is something that even comic book writers sometimes don't understand, that the thing that we love about X-Men are all the interpersonal relationships, the messy drama, and we don't need a whole episode. And I feel like that's probably why they didn't have the Storm Life Death be the whole episode. They probably feel like, oh, well, we need to have some type of superhero battle, something in it. But like, no, I want to see this whole episode should have been the Storm Life Death thing. Because we don't always want to see the superhero battles. We want to see the connection and the interpersonal relationships, the drama, the mess.
Yeah.
Save that for the Avengers.
I really, that's like the thing I love about the cartoon. I was worried because the movies a little bit did not take that, right? The movies were kind of more just like, look, powers, and not even doing them that well. But I feel like the cartoon is like, yes, we know that you like both the drama and the like cool powers, and it's like doing both. And I fucking love that so much. That's like hitting my sweet spot like perfectly. Like,
it's why the X-Men need to be a show.
Yeah,
it's just why it needs to be a show, right? Not a movie.
Yeah, and that's why it would work better as a show. We learn it is. Then what do you think, TS? Would you prefer it to be a show or a movie?
I really like for it to be a show, but not a cheesy show. It needs to be on HBO or something like they do the House of the Dragon or the Game of Thrones. It needs to be like that.
Agreed.
I would love that.
Like seasons and stuff like that. Like,
not the CW.
You don't want it to be Riverdale?
No.
Right. They can't let it come forth and give like, because I don't need it to be like The Boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Did y'all
give it
like
a
The Boys?
Bring a little prestige.
I haven't watched all of The Boys. I've been meaning to go back to it because I've heard, what is it, Generation V?
Gen V is good. Gen V is really good.
I've heard nothing but good things about that spinoff. Like,
and it's
I've
sad
heard people
that what's his
recommend.
face, the lead, Chance.
yeah.
Yeah, he just passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, they were right. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I didn't even know he was in it till he passed away, honestly. But it's because I
knew him from Sabrina.
Yeah.
I knew him from Sabrina too.
Yeah.
Speaking of kind of little messy shows.
Yeah. We learned that it is Jubilee's 18th birthday, and I was very happy we moved away from her being 13 forever. Because I just like, right? I mean, I don't need her to be 13 all the time.
Agreed.
I'm okay with like nondescript adult age, like Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean Grey, Storm. You kind of don't really know how old they are, but like they're adults. Jubilee, I needed to stop being like 13 or 12 because like.
Yes, girl, come on, because I'm sick of you with those firecrackers in your hands, girl. Come on.
she's got to hurry up and get to that butch cut. She that the gray butch.
So Magneto kind of doesn't want to do anything for her birthday because he's a fucking grump. Wants the attention on him, no one else. She goes up to her room with Roberto. And there's like a Motendo game that sucks them both in.
A little Sega Genesis looking thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like that the game cartridge even looked like the old X-Men game cartridge.
Yeah.
That was cute.
The people who work on this show, I know they're old. I know it.
Yeah, they gotta be our age.
I know. They're bringing the detail into this, and I'm like, yes, good, yes, correct. Like,
the kids today, they don't know what a Sega Genesis or having to blow the cartridge because there's dust inside of it. They don't know nothing about that.
They don't have the respect.
They don't know anything about a real joystick, honey.
No.
I will
the red dot with that red button. There's just one red button in the joystick,
and that's it.
Or having to actually be there at 8 o'clock when the show comes on because there's no TiVo, DVR, watching it on streaming. If you miss it, you gotta wait till maybe the summertime, and maybe they'll rerun the episode. Maybe.
My mom knew it was serious business when I asked her to tape something. I was like, listen, I had to go on a band trip. I was like, please tape that show. And she missed one time, and I was like, and I had to be so cool about it. But
people knew not to talk to me on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock when Buffy was on, because I'm like,
I think I was working at a movie theater the last season of Buffy, and my dad didn't realize I was taping on the VCR. It wasn't the last episode, it was like one of the last ones though. And he didn't, so it didn't record because he just stopped it and took it out. And I don't think I've ever yelled at my father that much. I was just like, what did you do? I'm gonna miss the episode. Oh my God, now I'm never gonna see it.
I used to make sure if I knew I wasn't gonna be home, I would set the VCR and I would tell my mother at 8 o'clock, do not touch the TV.
Listen, these girls better be glad for YouTube, because YouTube now you can go get all of the things. You know what I'm saying? You can scroll back and catch all of it. I've caught up on so much stuff. It's crazy the stuff that I've really caught up on.
Yeah, no, agreed. So they go into Mojo World, Mojoverse. Michael, do you know which is it?
Mojoverse.
I gotta say, I love Mojo as this fucking sassy queen with a bunch of work done that they even joke about it.
he was channeling Jim Carrey Riddler voice big time.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot. It was a high, again, he was going on a vocal journey. It was very good. It was very, very good. Very 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the voice actor that did that.
Yeah, because Jubilee says something like, "Oh, did you go on a diet?" And he says a nip and a tuck here. I was like, "Oh, I love that he actually is yeah, I got some work done. No big deal."
Well, we found out he lied. He was just sucking it in because at the end of the episode.
Oh, see, I thought it was that he was so upset that it all came undone.
Oh, maybe that, because that's how I took it. I took it as him sucking in his gut.
I didn't even know what.
I do when I'm on camera.
Which I do every time. I got to stand up for pictures. I'm like, let me suck in.
I'm like, so you said I'm sitting here sucking in. That's what I do when I sit here. I'm like,
we got T.S. Madison on, honey. I need to look snatched.
Yeah, a little bit
as we sit and I'm sucking it in.
But you see, I'm sitting over here with the camera pushed up like this, like, yeah, Rob. You get close up. Yeah,
The
Rob.
till.
So Jubilee and Roberto, they go to, I love the Genosha when it's like from that episode where she gets stuck in there. And I love like that we see like the X-Men in the background, like Domino and Sunfire that were in that episode. Because as a kid, I always loved looking at the backgrounds to see like who they had. Like I'd be like, oh, who's that? Like, who's that? And then I would like, look at one of my action, like I feel like back then they put out so many weird random characters as action figures, and it'd be like a character that was like in the background of a scene when Storm was like beating someone up.
Right.
So
I would have an action figure of a character I didn't know anything about. I don't know what my problem was. I was like, I had some of these people. I knew them from the card. I was like, no, we got to get this. She's in the card. She's got the what's her name with the 6 arms? I had that.
Spiral. Yeah.
Spiral.
And her arms
I had
like this.
Spiral.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, it was like a 30 years flashback. I was like, you. I don't know you. But
I know this woman.
Every time I see Spiral, I always think Goro from Mortal Kombat, because that's the first time I saw like a multiple arm person. I was like, did they steal this from Mortal Kombat? No, find out, and this person came out way before.
Yeah. So Jubilee kind of like pretty quickly realizes they're in a video game. Mojo does like his info dump of like, the video games are the future now. That's what we're doing. We're moving away from TV. I like that he mentioned Dazzler. That had me like gay gasp a little bit. I was like, I was hoping we would see her. We did not. That's okay. Maybe we'll see her in the future.
She's too expensive now.
Yeah, she's famous. And
maybe y'all gathering it. Come on, fill me in. I'm over here like, yes. and I'm also Instacarting.
Good.
Fair enough.
That's fine.
Keep it going.
You get your groceries.
Dazzler. Wait, so Dazzler's she's the pop star.
Yeah.
She's okay.
And I think, I think
rumor is Taylor Swift is going to play her in the Deadpool movie. That's a rumor.
That's what people keep saying.
But they've been rumoring that. Do you guys remember that was the rumor of that really bad last X-Men movie? Was it Dark Phoenix? Whatever.
That gotta be Dark Phoenix.
That movie was terrible.
It was awful, and they like the big rumor was that Taylor Swift was going to be Dazzler, but Dazzler's in that movie for literally 1 second. It's like a scene where she like puts her arm up, and there's like a cool flash, and that's it. So if that's what it is, then whatever.
They seem to have like a ton of Easter eggs like this. So I feel like more than the other 3 were like they're like plot, and then like this one seemed to be like we're gonna do this sort of like 2 stories in one, and there's gonna be a lot of little characters you're just gonna see super fast. So that's where for me, I was a little like somebody who was like a little out of it. I know TS, you mentioned this as well, which was like I don't know who half these people are, but like it's kind of it was a lot more like winking to a lot of stuff if you knew it. But I think I didn't know it, so it took me like a second to get into the Mojo stuff.
That's fair. I
thought it was fun to do like video game stuff, but it was a little bit of a like, okay, now like I kind of had to just assume it made sense to someone.
That's
me too. It took me a second too.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm here like.
And I don't fully. It's been a while since I've seen the '90s cartoon. I went back and I'm starting to rewatch, but I'm only on season 1. But I do remember, like this is kind of an homage to something that happened in the '90s cartoon, because if I remember correctly, Jubilee did have an interaction with somebody from the Mojoverse.
Longshot, I think.
Longshot.
Yeah.
So now this is her getting back. This kind of them bringing that back in a way by having her be in the Mojoverse now.
Yeah, and
is a parallel.
It's a different. I think it's just like a different dimension. I think
it's not a different timeline.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's just a different dimension. No, yeah.
Okay.
So then he like Mojo puts them into a new game, and that game is the fucking basically the X-Men arcade game from the 90s.
And that was up in my pizza place, so I was very happy to see this. So this is like, cool, okay.
I played that every time. So I'm from Jersey. We live near the beach. Anytime we went to the Jersey Shore, that was like the game I looked for on the boardwalk. And it was the only arcade game I ever beat. Like I would stay on and like, I beat it like a couple different times. TS, did you ever play that arcade game? No, it was from like.
Can I tell y'all a secret?
Hmm.
Only watched the cartoon.
Fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
My mother was. My mother. Oh, my mother. We were Christian,
Mm.
and we couldn't have all those that stuff.
Mhm.
That stuff. You know what is that with powers and all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so it was dark forces adjacent. It was magic and that sort of thing. Okay, gotcha.
Magic and stuff. It's like
Okay, good.
yeah, dork sided. It's dork sided.
Dark-sided. Dark-sided.
They're not Christian.
And then you grew up to be fully magical. So look
Now
at
look. Now look at
Yes.
you.
Yeah, only dork sided, honey.
It's my mom grew up with parents that were really strict. And both of my parents grew up with parents that were like my dad wasn't allowed to listen to like rock music because his parents thought it was like from the devil.
Dork sided.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's why they both were not strict at all with me. Cause like my mom would always say, like, oh, your grandfather didn't want me to date, so I just sneak out the window. And I would go on different dates all the time. Like when I came out, I remember asking my mom, like, what do you think like your dad would have thought? Like, cause she talked about him a lot. She was like, he wasn't worried I was a lesbian, he was worried I was a slut. And like that's how like they like just let me kind of do like with that stuff. They weren't really sensory because they were like, watch whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, I was watching Queer as Folk when I was in I was a teenager. So my mother really had issues.
All right.
Nervous. See, I was so scared. I was a little scared kid. So but yes.
But so yeah, so they go into the arcade game. They basically like the design of the levels in the arcade game, they literally are going through like Savage Land, the weird sentinels that are human sized. That's from the video game. That's not from anything else. And then when they fight Magneto, it's like the level in that video game. And so then they get saved. Who saves them from Magneto, Adam?
So it's Spiral. Or is it who was?
It's the other
Spiral,
Jubilee.
No,
the other Jubilee.
Abscissa.
Yeah.
No, because there was another one. No, who is she? The other one. There was another with metal on. She had like metal.
Yeah, the other the other Jubilee.
That's the other Jubilee.
You can see I was sitting there being like trying to recall 30 years old information. I was like, okay. Yes, she is the aged up Jubilee. Yes, I do. I was getting all because I feel like there was several sort of silver girlies in there. And, yeah,
and
maybe
like I think Jubilee makes fun of her and calls her like Hot Topic. They all got like kind of that vibe.
That's right. Yeah, she does. She's got that sort of like Fifth Element type outfit.
Yeah,
like late night, like a '97 era. Here's what the future is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if y'all know this, but that was actually the voice actress is the original voice actress that played Jubilee in the '90s cartoon.
Wow.
Which I think is so cute. And that voice actor was so excited about it. It was really cute. She was like, her and the woman who now voices Jubilee like took pictures together and they were like excited about their episode. And I thought that was really cute. Because the original voice actor was not an Asian woman. So
she was an Asian woman.
They cast an Asian woman. Yeah. But I was happy, like, give her a little bit of her flowers. She deserves, she was the original Jubilee. So then they get saved by her and they have like a talk in this weird Tron looking like whatever. And I do like that when she's like, you need to learn to grow up. And Jubilee's like, so Magneto was right. And I was like, he usually is.
Hashtag Magneto's right.
He's a messy queen, but he is usually right.
The magnetism
of magnetism.
It's just the way that they enunciate the master of magnetism.
It's the drama, right?
And I think that's what I've been really missing. Like the movies, every other movie, even the other MCU stuff, they're all so shy about the comic roots and how goofy it all is. And them just like hitting the gas and going Shakespeare and being like, I am the master of magnet. And everyone is talking on this really cheesy level with like, here's my powers and here's what I do. And I control and they're just they're hitting the gas. They're not embarrassed at all about the name things and what stuff is called and being grand and big. And it just, it's what I think. It's what I needed. I think it's what everybody needed.
Yeah, I mean, T.S., you just quoted, like, hearing that in the first episode when they had Storm say the, like, mistress of the elements, blah, blah. I was like,
mistress of the elements. And she's doing all that. Like, go forth. Oh.
Right? It's like, got me hyped. I was like, yeah, fuck them up, Storm.
I was so hyped when Cyclops told her, honey, bring the forecast. I was like, yeah.
They even let him like get a little.
Yeah, they definitely like Cyclops.
Yeah,
they definitely like Cyclops cook in this series.
It was.
Yeah, the TS I have referenced Give Him the Forecast like every episode since then because like it's so good, right? It's just so fucking good.
Give him the forecast. I'm like,
and the moment they said Omega level threat detect, I said, you better get that bitch. You better give her fucking powers.
Listen to me, honey. When she stepped in, it turned cold when she was walking. And I was like, come on, Shimu. It gave very much so how Shimu had tiptoed through that, honey. And the ground turned cold, and when Kong was like, but he's like, I am the mistress of the elements. I think, yes. I was waiting for her to just tear it up, to fuck it
Sandy
up.
just turned into crystals and ice, and it was just like,
And the fact that, like you said, she was just so casual about it. She was just like, yeah, like walking in casually while everything's like blowing up and like freezing around her. And she's just like, all right.
The only thing that had me sad about that whole thing is we finally get to see Storm be the Omega level powerhouse that we know she is.
But did we though?
In that one episode, in that one moment, but then the moment we got it, the next episode she lost her powers. So it's like I was like, yeah, because in the original cartoon, she did one thing, is she kind of like not as bad as Jean Grey, but her and Jean were always fainting. I'm like, but 2 Omega level mutants, and I'm like, the bitch is always fainting. Scott.
Listen,
did you feel it when she lost it?
Yes, I did. Now when she lost her powers, I felt her powers leave her.
Is she the original?
Yeah. I think Allison Healy Smith, if I am correct, is her name.
Oh, she's the original. That's the original.
That's the original. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
She gave a really good interview in Entertainment Weekly where she said that like when she got that, she hadn't really had many jobs. It was one of her first jobs, and it like meant a lot to her because she didn't think she was going to get it. And then when she came back, she gave this really good quote where she was like, I came back and I don't need this job. I came back because I love this job and I wanted to do Storm justice. And I didn't have to prove anything to anyone because I knew I could do it. And I was like, all right, I like that confidence. Like, that's like, I like to see that. And that's like very Storm to me, where she's like, I don't need to, but I'm going to do it. Like, but yeah, I think she's so good. Oh, and T.S., I got to tell you, I forgot to mention this when we brought up Morph. The Morph voice actor, JP, was very excited. They follow my podcast on Instagram, and they were like, oh, you have T.S. Madison on? They were very excited about you.
Wait, the Morph who plays Morph?
Yeah.
Listen, oh my God, I feel so honored. Listen, everybody, I think that everybody is doing a really good job. Like, and even if I don't remember exactly like whose voice it is, I don't think that it's anybody different.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at enunciating and sounding exactly like what I remember when as a kid, and even going back watching that, honey. It's the mistress of the element. I'm like, yeah. I'm over here like I'm just going crazy.
You know that's the clip I'm going to cut for the preview of this, right?
The mistress of the elements. Boom. But this pisses me off that we see her display her Omega level power, right? We see her do this. And then it's not Omega level enough.
All right, fair enough.
I wanted it to be more. She decimated all the Sentinels and all that stuff. And then it's just like, girl, why was there still not chaos going around? Like, if you are a super powerful goddess, it needs to be so much chaos going around and everybody's trying to hold on to their seat. Like everybody.
That's fair. That is fair.
Because you're coming through tearing that shit up. I need her because the cartoons do not give enough justice to her. She's the cartoon had her fainting. Her Jean is always over there putting her hands on her temples, and next thing you know, she's fainting. I'm like, girl, please call on the Phoenix.
Even when she had the Phoenix, she was fainting. Like,
Well, that's how they said you could tell that the person at the end of the episode in episode 2 when she shows up,
that's what I said.
and you knew she was the real Jean Grey because she fainted, and the other one was standing up still, and they were like, "Oh, that's the clone."
Oh,
So she wasn't fainting because she didn't faint.
That whole body had been through it.
You know, and so I gotta mention, TS, the reason I found out that you love X-Men is because there's that video clip of you talking about Jean Grey versus Storm, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because everyone talks about Jean Grey, and it's like,
Like, girl, they do, like, in Jean Grey, okay, now I'm not taking nothing away from Jean Grey, because Jean Grey, you know, I think that she's at her most powerful with when she's embodying the Phoenix.
yeah.
Because, you know, through the cartoons, it was always this she's lifting it up, honey, by putting these fingers on this temple, you know, but then it's just like, this Storm can control the weather. Like, do you not understand? We won't go outside if it's raining. We have to wrap up in a blanket if it's too cold. If it's too hot, we're stripped naked. You know what I'm saying? If the earth is quaking, this means you can make earthquakes, tsunamis. Girl,
It's the elements.
Yeah.
it's just raising your hand, telling me what to do.
And still to this day, whenever it snows in Jersey, I go outside and I'm like, I command the power of the blizzard.
And those eyes turn white, honey, and she glows and she just goes up. And it's like she's possessed by all the forces of nature. And Jean Grey is still over here, girl, holding her head, trying to lift a house. It's like, girl, as soon as fragments of the house go up, here she go fainting. Oh, stop.
God.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. As a kid, I always liked Jean was not, because of what you just said. Jean was like not really, I loved all the ladies, but she was my least favorite of all the ladies, because it was like, like Jubilee was around my age. She was a little bit older than me at the time. And I was like, okay, she's cool. I want to be Jubilee because I want to be the kid with the X-Men. But Storm and Rogue were like cool badasses, I always thought.
Well,
Like,
of course, Storm was black, so I needed to get into that.
Exactly. That was me too.
Black
Like,
woman, honey, and
I was like, she was like the first black.
Girl, honey, control the elements.
She was like the first black superhero I saw on TV.
Yes.
Always connected to her.
Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
you know,
I vividly remember that Morlock fight. That always like stuck out to me in my head.
when they had those
when they
weird light up, like,
She was
they had the lightsabers.
When she was having that just battle royale with, what was it, with Domino?
Callisto.
Oh, Callisto, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, there were so many nods to different cartoons or different stuff, like the lightsabers.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier with the Tron nod.
Yeah.
Like when Jubilee had the Tron outfit on, and what's the gamer's name?
Mojo.
Mojo, like all of this is Tron. Like all those are nods to Tron.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Like Adam said, not only are they probably the writers around our ages, but they're clearly also big fucking nerds too, like us, right? Like it's nice to feel that. You feel it, right? Like this is
they grounded it in the time, but also Tia said this at the beginning with like modernizing what they needed to modernize a few things.
Yeah. And honestly, it's making me wonder because, I have my small little nitpicks. Like I said, I feel like this episode was rushed. The pace of this whole episode should have been the Storm thing. But overall, everybody's been praising the fuck out of this show. It's at like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody's praising every episode. So it's like, what happened that caused them to get rid of Bo DeMaio? So I'm like, so I don't know. I'm just like, people are sorry, I had to bring it up, but I'm like, people are praising the show. Like, what happened?
You had to bring it up, Michael.
Everybody.
No, I mean, it's very.
Well,
yes, I'm looking like you.
Well, allegedly.
I'm glad you got a side.
Well, allegedly, I heard it had something to do with some OnlyFans stuff. Allegedly.
That is what I've been hearing, and Disney.
Fucking bored.
Right.
I love that board.
I need to get props for around my desk.
Was
It's
that?
like-
I was like, when did you sneak off and write that? When did you?
But I also
Listen.
heard I also heard the OnlyFans wasn't explicit. So like, granted, I tried to sign up. But
How many
like,
do you
I tried to
have?
sign up. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I tried to sign up, but when I clicked that link, it was expired.
I love that you have fucking 2 of them.
Allegedly, listen, allegedly. I don't know how many times we gonna say some stuff on here, honey. Allegedly, because I want to work on the show. I want to come be a voice actor on the show, so I need to let it be allegedly. That's what I heard, and I was like, "Damn, like really? Like, come on, bro. Let's be real, right? This stuff left and came back now, and this is X-Men '97. We don't know if those girls have been working or whatever since the show stopped. We went through an entire pandemic.
Yeah.
Let the girls who have OnlyFans live off the OnlyFans, girl. It's like, come on. Like, there were times people had to eat and feed their kids and stuff like that. Like, girl, come on.
And also,
Stop it.
let's be real, probably, especially during the pandemic, probably made more money on OnlyFans than like writing a TV show.
Yeah.
Correct.
I would say that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Post strike, please.
They don't pay the writers that much. Like the
No,
actors
not
are going to
Disney.
get paid more if you're like, you know, Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. But like, yeah.
That's why they were on strike. Like, girl, come on.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't, you know, if it's just that, like, don't make season 2 suck, you know, because you done let this person go, you know, because season 1 is the tea. Like, this is the tea. Like, I
Wait.
love it.
TS, I don't know if this will make it better or worse, but he wrote the first 2 seasons and they finished
Oh!
the second
Yeah,
season.
they finished
They
writing
got
the
his
second
work out of
season.
him, and then so
Well, they will listen. Season 3, we'll know if they'll be crawling at his doorstep to bring it back.
I was wondering that, right? Because they might just be like,
Yeah.
all right, you can come back. Like,
And I remember
That's what I'm-
when he was posted, like right before season 1 came out, he tweeted on his or posted on his Instagram that he's in the process of starting season 3. And then
yeah. Well, what I want to know is like, I'm so gagged by this because it's like we all been talking about how MCU's in a slump. In general, superheroes in a slump right now. Like, just the audiences just have not been like gravitating regularly. You know, I know for a variety of reasons, whatever. But like, this is the first in a very long time thing Disney Marvel has put out that has been
universally
capital H hot.
yeah.
Everybody in, newbies in, casual superhero people in, everybody's just in, just 10 toes down in. And it's like, it just feels like really, if this is allegedly, I don't have an allegedly sign, I need to get, but if this is what this is, if that is all that is, and I hope there's not something other than that ugly or whatever allegedly sign, but like, it would just be so
Thank you.
like, this is the person who has shepherded that. Thank you. Like, this is the person who has like shepherded that new voice. And you think that would be someone that they would just be like, keep that voice, keep that energy. Someone who is bringing that energy that people need into this world. It's like, you think that person would be prioritized unless.
and an openly
But they
gay black
always
man.
mess up.
Right.
But they always mess up. They always freaking mess up. It's just like, girl, like they mess up all the time. I was so looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984 until it came out. And then I was like, girl, this is really a chick flick. Like, this is too chick flicky.
So
I
bad.
need to see her whooping ass. Like, why is she not whooping ass? Like, because Wonder Woman, the first one, was the tea.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that one.
you can't go away from the formula. Like, girl, that was the tea. Like, when we saw her leap up there and tear those buildings down, and she was, girl, wearing out Aries, like, it was the tea.
Not even just that, but why you got her pining after this man that should have died? Like, if anything, she should have been scissoring Cheetah.
What?
Something.
Well, TS, this is exact. So my husband had he was really into Wonder Woman 1, and then he was so keyed up for Wonder Woman 1984, and he was kind of like how we were talking about with Storm. He was like, you get her back after all these years, first thing you do is get her powers away. She like couldn't fight. She was like weakened, and he was like, well, that's not what I'm here to see. I'm not buying a ticket for Wonder Woman to watch her be like unable to do stuff, and she's flailing
Girl,
around,
like, where's her, like, girl, that's why they need to hurry up and bring Storm's powers back, because I'm over here like, girl, stop it.
I was really like, I was like, this better be a mini
You
arc.
let her bring the noise one time, bring the forecast once, and then when her and Magneto is in the room tearing up the damn Congress, like I was so ecstatic to see them work together. Now that did it. Like I was like, yes. Because what is lightning and electricity and magnetism? Boom!
I love that when Magneto walks in that house, he's basically like, "You're all stupid. I hate you all." Not you, Storm. You're a queen. Like, I love that he like Magneto can't stand the rest of them, but Stormy's like, "No, I like you." Like, no.
Yeah, you're a goddess. Thank you.
Which is how a gay man would react to Storm. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. And
and this show is so gay. This show is so gay.
And he had a nice little queer family moment in Goblin Queen episode with Morph. He was the only person to kind of put that little gingerly fatherly hand on Morph's shoulder, because he
talking
knew
about Sinister.
They were going through something with that, and it was like,
you know,
I keep joking that even though they're having to teasing the relationship between Magneto and Rogue, I'm like, him and Charles was fucking. Like, him and Charles definitely in a relationship, like, especially when you look at that little photo that the two of them got.
For sure.
They definitely and Morph and Wolverine and Morph and Wolverine.
For sure. That's listen, Wolverine is more straight, baby. But here's the gag. Xavier and Charles have a long-standing relationship with each other, honey.
Magneto even says, like, he's always in my thoughts, and it's like,
yeah, that whole I was like, and there's no way this is a straight relationship. A man is in another lingering to let you know they're always there. I'm like, that's more the heterosexuality.
Well, and he's like his purple leather cat suit with his like gloves up to here. Like, come on.
And I think
with
that's
with that powder lip gloss. Have y'all not caught the gloss, girl?
The gloss.
The gloss.
I think that's why this is a very queer show, and a queer X-Men is just queer for all these other reasons, but also just because there are it does have that sort of really deep sort of old school queerness of just like everybody's sort of 30 to 40% in a thing with each other. Like there's not a clear delineation of like, we are dating and we are this, that like Scott and Jean are maybe like the closest, but then even then it's like there's all this bleed over, like everybody's kind of 30, 40 to 70% into each other, and they all
Adam, that feels like me when I lived in New York, like me telling you every story.
Right.
Well, we already know from the comics that Cyclops and Wolverine were boning each other. So like,
listen,
yes, TS, get into it.
Okay, but
not officially. It's subtext. It's all subtext. Yeah, it's not like officially confirmed, but they hint at it. They never actually showed it, and so I'm actually hoping that we get to see some of that with regards to like Morph, because like we see Madeline and Cyclops. We know Cyclops and Jean are getting together. Jubilee and Sunspot. Wolverine hinted pining over Jean. Like Storm and Forge. Like there's a lot of heterosexuality. Rogue and Gambit. Rogue and Magneto. Hopefully they give Morph some type of like love interest, or like a hint that he's in love with or hint that he's in love with Wolverine. Some type of queerness.
Yes, because Wolverine over there lusting at the Jean Grey, honey. She riding Cyclops' eyes out of his head, girl. She's riding.
Gives it
so he blind over there
to all of this fanfic / fit. It just get like you could pair up anybody with anybody, and I wouldn't be like no, like I would just. You could pair anybody with anybody. I just be like, I could see that.
You know, what's funny is that we're talking about how gay it is. I literally was just arguing. Why do I do this to myself? Instagram has now become like the new Twitter where like everyone's always mad about everything. And like every X-Men post I do, some straight fanboy comes in to be mad about it. And like this one guy was commenting that one of the stills looked gay because the men were like had their arms around each other, and it was like, see, they're trying to make everyone gay. And it's like, well, if you think that's too gay, like I don't know why you like the X-Men, because like
I would just respond with like the Beast and Gambit porn art I see. Like I would just be like, well, here. This is what that
people were complaining about Gambit in a crop top. I'm like, it's the 90s. Men were wearing Will Smith was wearing a crop top in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like
they were mad.
What's his face was in a crop top in Rocky.
My baby gay brain remembers Will Smith in that crop top. Let me tell you.
First of all, if they're mad about that, honey, first of all, the whole X-Men is goddamn outcast of being different from everybody.
Yep.
Come on, honey.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they changed it. And it's like, they didn't really change much. That's what it was. It was always like that. I'm sorry, you're like dumb.
Rogue and Gambit, they're swingers. They're totally swingers.
I
tell you,
Gambit is bi. Gambit is hella
They're
bi.
scared. They're scared it's not theirs.
Yeah.
They know it's ours. They're scared.
It's like what was it? The Fountain for Boys, Adam, that you always reference.
Wells for Boys. Yeah.
Yeah, Wells.
Wells. I'm like, this was something we had, and it's important. It's just for us. This isn't for everything else is for you. X-Men is ours, and it's the hot thing now. And all your other little things are flopping.
So let's move on to the Storm plot. I guess the Jubilee one, they defeat Mojo, they kiss at the end. Okay, I'm okay with that. Then we move on to Storm. TS, what do you think about the Storm plot?
Honestly, it was a lot of emotions going on with me right there, because it's just like, when you think about a goddess and you think about us as queer people, if we can bring it back to queer, us losing our mojo, us losing our superpower, because I think that all of us as queer people have our superpower. That's just the way I feel. Like, I think we have a sense of knowing the future. We have a sense of connecting to the past, and we're able to heal through laughter and through experience, through this, and then to reach up, and you can't feel that anymore because some person has come through and ripped this away from you. And then you get in there in the room and you find out that it's a person that you love that has taken this from you. That you find out, and they're trying to give it back to you. And, they're doing everything to try to redeem themselves for being the creator of the chaos that took it away from you. And they're trying to give it back to you. And then it's just like, when they confess to you, it's just like, it was you.
Yeah.
It was you. You did this to me.
The drama was so good.
It was good.
And that, like, I love it because, like, not all shows would do this. Not many shows would do this at all. Is like, there wasn't a moment where she was like lenient with him.
Yeah.
Like,
which,
there was
like, fair, right?
Like,
Yeah.
she tripled down on, like, it's worse that you worked with the gut. You trusted the government.
I couldn't believe Disney allowed her to say that. Like, you
Right.
never trust the government. I was like, I can't believe Disney wasn't like, no, you have to take that out.
And not only just that, but like somebody that you love and somebody that is part of you. Like, Forge is a mutant.
Yeah, he's a mutant. Yeah.
And he created this thing to, to get rid of the mutant powers, and which is why Storm is in this situation. It's like that even adds another layer to the hurt. Like, you're one of us.
Yeah.
And this is what you did. Like, that's why when she slapped him, I said, first what you was slap his ass. But yeah, like the drama, and that's why I wish this episode, like, I wish this whole episode was the life death. There
is, so I think the reason they did this, because they do have a whole episode. I looked at the episode list, and there is a whole episode that's Life Death Part 2. So it's like the whole story.
Right.
And
yeah, there's a Part 2, but also in the comics, there's a Part 1 and a Part 2. So I feel like they're going to do the Part 2 of the comic. But like the first one, it's like, it was an extended issue of it. Like, it was like 50 something pages. So this whole episode could have been, could have been that. And also, I would have loved it.
Also, Forge, like, maybe don't tell her, like, now is not the time to say I love you after you've told her you created the thing that, like, took away her powers. Like, I don't.
And that just felt like, oh, you're just throwing stuff out to make her not mad. Like, that's not, like, because it's coming from this genuine place. No.
I don't know anyone who that wouldn't make them more mad.
And you feeding me this good, hot, spicy bison chili.
The chili. It looked good.
You got me riding this stallion out here. It was so much sexual stuff going on. I'm out here riding this stallion in the dry desert, and it's hot, and I'm riding this stallion, and you telling me you can't outride me, and you like and you just riding it.
And she's like, what a rude little man, but in like a really flirty way.
Man.
I was like, get it, girl.
She
like,
was turned on. That's what
Yeah.
you could tell. She was turned on.
The scope of this show is so cool. Like it's just to go into these, to go from Mojoverse to the, like even though it was right, like just I was just so amazed by like they, they did the whole Goblin, they did this whole horror episode, and they did the Congress flying them up into the sky, and then the Sentinels, and then there's just riding stallions across the desert with this man, and it just like the scope of everything. And this is the most epic thing I think I've seen out of the Marvel unit, and it's just 4 little episodes of an animated show, and it's the most vast epic scope I've seen.
And that's another thing I love, that like all of us are like, we're all fucking adults, but we're all like, yeah, this is cartoon is great, like
because they're appealing to us. Like obviously it's a cartoon, they want to get some, but they know that they're not appealing to kids. They're appealing to people that watch the original 90s cartoon, and it was 30 something years ago, so we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s, so that's who they're writing this show for. And I feel like that's also why they aged up Jubilee, because it's like, yeah, we're not writing for kids anymore. And I'm like, at this point, the Marvel movie universe, screw everything else, just give us X-Men. Like we don't care about nobody else no more, just give us the X-Men.
That's it.
Yeah.
I
give us a live action X-Men. Give me a Storm movie. I want a solo Storm movie.
And we do need a Storm movie. And I do need them to do a redo for Apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Trust. Yeah, that
Oscar Isaac,
so
you're
like,
gorgeous, but that Apocalypse was terrible.
Oh,
he was so like,
that movie's so bad. Like so bad.
So it's awful.
I think that's been the big thing. My big takeaway from X-Men 97 is just how, like, I was already sort of didn't have the fondest memories of the X-Men live action films in my head. X-Men 97 has just like aged even those iffy memories like milk.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh, well, just seeing someone really get it and get it immediately and really push it and take it there, and Omega, and just it just makes everything else before it just seem like, oh, what was everybody else doing? You didn't know what you had.
I can't. I thought I would like this before it came out. I was like, I'm gonna like this. It's gonna be cute, but it's like way better than I thought it would be. Like I didn't think I would be this into it. I thought it'd be like a cute thing I watch, whatever. Like I wasn't even sure I was gonna do weekly coverage of this, and then it was like, oh, I fucking love this. Never mind, I'm doing weekly coverage for every new episode.
Right.
Storytelling.
And like, and so TS and Michael, Adam is one of our resident authors. How many books do you have, madam?
I have 4 books. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on, 4 books.
So hearing you, Adam, like talk about how much you love the storytelling makes me so happy, because I'm like, yes, even my like well-published friend is like, this writing is good. Like that makes me like really happy.
It's hard to do this right. That's why like I am like feeling really, I'm glad Bo DeMeo got brought up, because like I'm like, whatever allegedly happened, like this is hard to do. Like I keep thinking that, where I'm just like getting how many characters this is, at least a dozen, each one of them having a specific voice. It was correct right away.
Yeah.
It's not the usual, oh, there's 3 episodes that you're sort of half into and then it gets cooking right away.
Yeah.
Impossible to do now. To get it right, and to do these arcs, the arcs we have seen in 30 minutes. Look, we have only seen, now we have seen like 2 hours, like a 2-hour movie. The arcs we have seen.
Yeah.
All the characters. Storm, Jean, Cyclops, Magneto, like we've seen everything out of it. This is like very, very, every scene has to have like a purpose. You have to know that character immediately. If you look at the script of this, you probably only have like, each character's probably only got like maybe three lines. And in those 3 lines, they got to carry the story. They got to support other people. They got to be true to the comics, the old show, the voice actor, like this is like a intricate woven blanket. It is masterful.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
And like you said, it's like a dozen characters, but it doesn't feel too crowded, right?
No.
Like I don't think so, right? Yeah.
And that is something that goes to what you were saying, Ian, earlier about why X-Men works better as a TV show as opposed to a movie, because we wouldn't be getting all these moments
Yeah.
If it was, they would just go straight to, okay, we got to have a giant superhero fight in like New York. Screw all the relationships and interpersonal relations, and then let's focus on Wolverine. He's the only one. It's like, which is what they did with the movies. It was Wolverine and them. Wolverine and his hoes.
And you're not missing anybody either. Like I feel like we're getting strong, like you're getting strong moments out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like you're getting like, you have like, these moments with like, and even like seeing like new ways to like do the powers, like new to us, like just having Cyclops beam right into Bishop's back. Hello. And having him just like charge himself up.
We know what that meant.
Hell. Like I was I was like, wow. And like the beam kept going in his back, and I was like, oh, he's still going. He's still going.
He's still going.
Good for you. Good for you, girls.
And to have Gambit power up Wolverine's
that was
claws.
fucking cool, right?
Oh my God.
That like it excites your imagination, your brain, because like you have these powers, but I think in some of the other live action movies, not to keep picking on them, but like you just have a fairly standard Storm makes a little tornado, and Wolverine's claws kind of he does this kind of stuff, and Iceman makes a little ice thing. Like I think the closest we got to this in the X-Men movies, I think, was Iceman blowing Frost into Wolverine's the little soda can or bottle. And having that was the one moment where I was like, oh, it's a different use of the powers that also.
And it was very gay.
Story.
Yep.
But like it was like that soda moment, but like all over the show. I feel like it's just these really unique, brand new, exciting ways.
And it doesn't feel stupid, right? It's like silly, but it doesn't feel stupid.
Yeah, having Cyclops blast the floor to do a little moonwalk.
Yeah,
like, that was cool.
That he could fall out of a plane and not get hurt because he's got the beam.
Right. Just like I feel like that we saw, and not to bring it back to the movies again, it's like when we saw Apocalypse, the Apocalypse one. What was that one? Days of Future Past? Was it?
No, that was. It's after that one. Is it just called Apocalypse?
I think it's just called X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay, yeah. So this is we see Apocalypse one when the most exciting part of that is when they were trying to kill him. And we got to see them all using their powers, and I was like, "Shit!" I said, "Ow!" It was so much going on. I was like, "Hold on!" And then the rest of the movie is like, "Girl, let go, G. Let go, G." Like,
so
girl.
No, it's. I mean,
y'all took all day to do this, girl.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence has never looked more bored. Like you could tell she hated doing those movies. But I also, Adam, not to do the thing we always do, but I also felt like this is very common of Adam and I on a podcast. It felt like because of the setting, because of like when Storm leaves and they're doing weird things, like she falls out of the cliff and lands in his living room, and then there's a weird giant fucking owl thing. It felt like a little Twin Peaksy to me.
It was a little Twin Peaks, yes. Exactly. Well, I always bring it back to Twin Peaks. So I was like, "Ooh, cabin owl, interesting." Yeah, like having just sort of this, like the owl be a representation of like the devil. So, like I don't know what the comic iteration of this is. So like, remember if you're watching this and you're mad at me, like I'm a baby. And just it was interesting, but that's where like I do wish, like you said, it had maybe been the whole episode, because I don't know if it was like it was like not enough of a like what's going on here.
Yeah,
there was a thing where it was like was she dreaming and then she fell through the thing. It was very interesting, fascinating, but like I feel like maybe one more little scene to kind of give it another little story oomph, to make it not feel so chopped.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I know it's not gonna be next episode. It's
the one after, yeah.
No, it's the one after, yeah.
Before we find out what's going on over there.
Yeah.
I like the suspense. I ain't gonna front. I like the suspense to that. I like it because it's like ooh, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, what in the hell happened? Like, okay, well, what? Maybe they'll do a nod back like the week after next, like when this is what it was, just to keep you in suspense, because we're all still trying to figure out when is Storm getting back. And so, like, what is this bird? Is this bird here to eat her? Is this thing in a way it was engulfing her? Like, it just it's like, well, what do you want with her? She don't have no powers. Like, what's going on?
And that's one of those things you mentioned that, and I was like, you know what? Because that's what is making me feel, because it's been a long time since I've had this feeling, which is like, I trust where they're going. I'm not even too mad about really anything, because I'm just like, I know they're gonna they did the thing with Storm's powers for a reason.
Yeah.
And when it comes, I know when those powers come back, it's gonna be
Colossal.
everything. It's
Yeah.
gonna be everything. It's gonna be everything. Like, it's gonna be worth that's one of those things where I'm like, God, wow, 4 episodes in, I completely trust wherever they want to take me.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Let me ask y'all this, everybody. Do you think she's gonna get her powers back this season, or you think they're gonna?
I think she will.
Part of me, I don't think I don't think she is. Or if she does, it's gonna be like in the season, like the last episode. Like,
I don't like this. No, I
don't think she's gonna get her powers back.
I don't either, because we want them to come back so bad.
That's true.
So I don't think that they're gonna come back. I think maybe that's the last episode of season 1 that she reaches her hands up, and then there's a little spark in the sky,
and then it ends.
Yeah.
I can see that. I could totally see that. Yeah.
Well, it's good thing he wrote those scripts already then.
Yeah, honey, because baby, listen, that OnlyFans took him out, girl. Out! Honey, out!
That better not be the reason. I hate this.
I just hope they don't take 3 years or whatever, 4 years for season 2 to come out.
That's I want to, right.
These shows that do that.
I want it to be like, this fall.
Yeah, I want it to be like next summer or whatever.
The shows that keep doing that, I'm like, I forget about them. Like Invincible, I loved season 1. Season 2, I keep forgetting is even airing because it took so long for season 2 to come out.
Yeah, I don't really hear that many people talking. And season 2 is great.
Yeah, it's been great.
That many people talking about Invincible because it took so long for it to come out.
If my friend, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, if my friend had invited me on his podcast, I probably wouldn't have. He was like, "Oh, did you watch, the last episode?" And I was like, "Oh, I haven't yet, but I'll watch it." And he was like, "Do you want to record with me for my show?" And I was like, "You know what? That'll be a reason to watch it." Great. And like that, like kind of is what got me to watch it. And I'm glad it did because I do like it. But yeah, TS, what were you gonna say?
Only good shows like the Game of Thrones can do stuff like that to me.
That's fair.
But because that Game of Thrones,
June, it's coming.
Oh right, it is House of Dragon.
I still gotta watch House of Dragon. I need to watch.
Oh my God, it just drove me crazy. It's coming in June.
Yeah, I need to watch season 1.
Jesus, like they don't need to. I don't need to be like, girl. I don't need all that.
He didn't. I feel like the turnaround was quick.
I don't need that. Like, girl, come on. Like, girl, I don't need all that. I need to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And it's and that was one of those. So my husband's like a big reader of the book it's based off of. So that's based on like Fire and Blood. And he was, the whole time we were watching season 1, he was like, they're just teeing everything up. Season 2 is going to be where it really like hooks. So
back in my day, we used to get like 22 episode television, and then at the end of the summer, we get new episodes 3 months later. So like
I have to, it is a back in my day thing I'm saying now. I'm just like, listen, it didn't used to be you take a whole year and a half, 2 years between things and you forget.
Not even a year to year, not even a year, that'd be like 3 years.
Yeah, just like the movie, the show From. Do y'all watch From?
Oh my God, I fucking love that show.
I'm like, girl, where is it at? Like, I don't got time for all that shit.
Or P-Valley. What the hell is season 3?
I also
so
get that sign, get the sign, get the sign.
You know, I live here in Atlanta. So they're in production right now.
Okay.
Very good.
I thought you were gonna be like, I heard they're canceling it.
Well, I know they're in production right now because they weren't gonna come back to 2025 because of the strike and the writer's strike and the actors and then all that type of stuff. Like, so I was talking to them because I was wearing them out. Girl, why haven't y'all called me yet? Bitch, I live right here in Atlanta. Why y'all ain't called me to be on the show yet? You know what I'm saying? So they was like, well, honey, they're filming and this is the time. So hopefully I get a chance to read for something over there. You know, hopefully, you know.
Listen,
But
when I inevitably I'm gonna have some more people from the X-Men cartoon on, I will. Well, I know someone who wants to be a voice actor next season.
that's right. I sure do. I would definitely come over there. Mistress of the Elements. So I won't be Storm, but they could definitely. I'm already a damn mutant, honey.
And they can introduce Dark Veil. That's a transmutant. You can voice the transmutant.
Really? Come on,
Yeah.
let's do it. Listen, so I know we're here talking about X-Men, but you guys are so into what the things that I'm into, and I don't really have an opportunity to talk about this stuff with a lot of guys and people because they're like, "What the fuck? Why are you sitting there watching?" I'm like, "Girl, get out of here. You're so stupid." So I'm angry that this, like, why is this taking so long for it to come back? I'm almost uninterested, like, especially with this. Especially with last season, the way they took all those turns and whoops, and who the hell is this bitch in the music box? Like, what the hell is going on? All of this shit. Now you got to explain this to me in the third season.
Because I'm gonna forget also, right? I'm gonna forget.
You're gonna forget.
They gotta know we're old. They gotta know.
You can't do that. Bring that shit back in 6 months.
And then not only just that, but it's so much new shit coming out that I'm watching it, and then it's taking so long. I'm like, wait, what? That was like 40 shows ago. Like, I don't remember what happened.
Girl, I'm not interested in that no more. Girl, I'm over it.
Add all that on top of the fact that I smoke weed all the time and like I'm not remembering shit. Like,
no.
It's like, girl, I'm over it, girl. You already confused me, and now you want to come back and you got to nod back, and this shit not adding up. And then y'all go to firing people, and people don't be the same stuff, and then y'all got an actor coming in playing. Girl, I know. I'm just over it.
I love that you love
Loki. I would like Loki season 2. I was like, I gotta hold on. What's this? It was too. I was into it, but like it took so long for me to be like, wait, now remember, now hold on. 2 years ago when we started doing this, it was what, and he was who. Like you got to like stay an expert in it. It's
TS. I was on a podcast that was talking about From, and I was so excited because I feel like I don't know anyone. I'm always telling people to watch it. I'm like, watch this show because it's so good, and then I can fucking talk about it with someone.
And I'm always watching, and I'm over here like, what's going on? Why is this? Who is this ballerina?
And it's kind of, they do the like horror stuff good, right? Like it's kind of creepy.
Oh God, listen, when I was, have you watched From?
I haven't. Me and my friends, we just started. I'm on the first season. I'm on like episode 5.
Of From?
Yeah.
Oh, so we telling you by season 2, you don't even need to know. Listen, those things, whatever those things are, I have personally thought that those things, that they're in purgatory. That's what I thought. I thought that until that bitch fell out that window. Yeah. And I was like, bitch, what? And I'm over here like, bitch, what? And y'all just gonna go for a year or 2 years, girl. And this bitch fell out the window and she in the hospital, bitch.
But are they doing a season 3? Like,
yeah, they are. Yeah,
they are. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything about it. I just figured one of those things where like because they chop you now at 2.
But TS, that fully anything I thought that I knew, that like I was like, well, I don't know anything. I have no idea what's going on when we got to that.
Yeah, and where the fucking spiders?
It's the same with like Yellow Jackets. When the hell is the next season of Yellow Jackets coming out?
It takes like getting their whole schedules together. We're gonna get like Euphoria season, and the Euphoria is gone. Like, I mean, people.
Euphoria is gone. Like Jacob Elordi's and they're busy.
Sydney Sweeney, they're all gone.
Sydney Sweeney, they're gone.
You're never gonna get them again.
Yeah,
you're gonna get them again when they're like 35. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like
they're all hot and booked and busy. Like.
You gotta we get to let that dream go. That's gotta.
Yeah. If y'all want to talk Interview with the Vampire, I'm here.
Oh, baby, it's it.
No,
we'll be here all night. But raw.
We got one more month.
One more month.
Oh my God. Listen, I don't even supposed to say this type of shit, but I'm gonna say it. I was so horny during so many of those scenes. It's just especially with that Lestat and when he spun him around and bit him on the neck and they elevated like this, I teared out. It was an erotic tear. I was so engulfed in emotions. It was just so much going on.
So
And
I've
them
only
making Louis black made the show so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And the character of Louis and the dynamic, it made it. I was afraid they were just gonna make him black, but they weren't actually gonna deal with his blackness. But they actually do, and I was just like,
they deal with his blackness. And here's the thing: what I enjoy so much about it is that they explored the homosexuality.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's not like
Because when you watch,
hinting.
Right.
yeah, when you watch the original Interview with the Vampire, which is one of my favorites, still,
Mhm.
you see as a queer, like if a straight person's watching it, they not grabbing none of this stuff. But as a queer, you're like, wait, they fucking.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Wait, this is a male parent household.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is no one paying this any, like, how are all my straight people around here watching? They loving the movie, but I'm the only one in the room. Like, they're homosexuals.
Yep.
How did they even enjoy that back then? Like, I want to be like, how do you like bring not the queerness to it and then sit there and enjoy it? Like, what do you even think you're seeing?
Yeah.
What do you think?
They're just
All
friends.
right.
It was the 90s. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise are like, nah, I ain't.
Listen, when they flew up in the air like that, that's why I'm so glad the way they turned that around. Because when they flew up in the air with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, they flew up in the air and he dropped it out. That was erotic to me too. I was like, hold on, there's some gay shit going on here.
That was one of my gay awakenings.
When they reimagined it over there on AMC, and he turned around and he leaned back in the head and it just lifted. I was like, oh God, I'm so like, I feel so seen.
So hilariously, I've only watched the first episode. And speaking of making you horny, I made the mistake. It was when I had COVID. I got COVID the day before my podcast live show, TS, and had to not go to my own podcast live show. And I was like, just, in bed. I was like, let me watch Interview with the Vampire. There was just too much plot going on for my stupid COVID brain. Like I couldn't focus.
You had the fog. No, you
Yeah. But I will say the ending when he murders that priest and it's all on fire and he's covered in blood. I was like, this is fucking horny. Like, this is hot. He just murdered a bunch of people in this church and is like, but wants this.
His man, for your man, I want you.
Yes, right? Like,
oh God, I cannot wait.
Acting, the two of them, especially Jacob Anderson, like,
yeah,
he be acting.
They're good, yeah.
How like jealous Lestat got. Even the jealousy was erotically charged. And I was watching like the scene where Louis is like saying like, oh, so I can fuck whoever I want, right? And then there's this clips going all over Twitter, like, and Lestat's just sitting there going, absolutely, absolutely, that would be great, absolutely. And you can just tell he's going insane thinking about it. And it's like insane. Even that is, yeah.
Insane, he's going insane, he's going crazy. And then when I saw those boots with that mud on it, I was like, he was there.
He was spying. He's obsessed. Yeah, it was, and then they played with like that it's erotic, but then they also played with those power dynamics with them as like a as a mixed race couple. Like they like didn't shy away from any part of anything. There's like nothing unexplored in this, and it's so, and you owe it to yourself to watch it. You got to see it.
It was one of those, how sometimes you watch something and you're like, oh, I really like this. Let me go back to it. And then I just didn't go back, but I've always meant to.
You definitely need to. You definitely need to, especially because I get it. Like, honestly, I'm at the point where I'm just tired of watching straight shit.
I am.
I'm tired of it.
I can't.
I'm tired of it.
I like
fellow travelers. I love that. Like,
I meant to watch that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, fellow travelers.
And that was like talking about horny. That show was horny.
Have you seen Fellow Travelers?
You haven't seen Fellow Travelers? It's a
Paramount
show on Paramount Plus that deals with like the lavender scare in the 50s, where a bunch of gay people were getting fired from government jobs, and so it follows two gay guys, one played by Matt Bomer and the other Jonathan Bailey. So there was like a sex scene where Matt Bomer's like lick under his armpit. That show was horny.
No, the sex scenes in Fellow Travelers,
he was sucking on his toes.
There's a full like leg and foot, like they fuck
I was like, I don't know how. I get your
like,
acting, but how did your dick not get hard? And like his foot is literally in your mouth.
I don't know how you would have done it. Like it was that you had to have like 10 intimacy coordinators for that. Like it was like the most like, oh, like it ekes out Interview with the Vampire for like the erotic scenes. Like it was like, oh, we're watching
really?
Those
we're
sex
watching
scenes are like,
what is it called?
Fellow Travelers
On Paramount Plus.
It's on Paramount Plus.
Got it. I'll be zoomed in tonight.
So the only thing I know about that show is because I see those clips on Twitter and I'm like, I don't even know what the show's about, but goddamn, this is hot. Because those sex scenes are like really, you know how sometimes it's like, especially with a gay sex scene, it's like, that's not that you can't be doing it that, like a dick doesn't go in there that way where the person is sitting. Those, it's like, yes, that is correct.
And like with Interview with the Vampire, it's good because like it's a period piece. It's the 50s. Interview with the Vampires in the 20s, 30s, 40s. They don't have this like really like they're conflicted about, you know, who they are, like, you know, but they're not like the intimacy is not conflicted. Like they really like take it there, and they don't do this sort of like, oh, we're sort of kissing and it's kind of clunky. Like it feels really modern in that way. So it really kind of just does invite that in. It just feels really like it shows you sort of like the passion of people like from that time, which I don't think a lot of times if you do a period piece with gay stuff, like it tends to be a lot more like they're pretending. You can tell they go there, and it really brings you in both of these shows. Absolutely.
You mean like Harvey Milk?
Yes.
Or they do the sex scenes where all they do is they lick and then it's like, and then they start fucking. I'm like, no.
Like
the Brokeback Mountain,
we need a little bit more spit.
Regular spit, like, right?
And Brokeback Mountain, they just eat a bunch of fucking beans, and it's like,
and then they start fucking.
Like, nobody alive knows that you could be out in the wood eating a can of canned pinto beans, bitch. You get fucked after that. You're crazy.
And then want to see that man again.
Right after that, and then y'all lay up in the tent with those shitty dicks. Girl, please.
No.
On that note, I am going to let's close out with what was your favorite scene from this X-Men episode? Adam, I'll have you go first.
For me, I don't even know if you call it a scene, but like just when Storm and Forge were just on horseback riding through the desert, and we got the scope of the desert and the music and the wind, and she was feeling it in her hair. Like, I don't know, something about the image and the shot and the characters and the music just really hit me. And I felt really like, maybe it was my sound bar, like everything just like swept me away from that. And maybe it's because we were kind of done with the Mojo thing, which I was a little done with. And then we were like, oh, here we are. We're in this thing that I'm really emotionally invested in. And it just felt like a film. It was just
they sell you on that romance really quickly. Like it does feel very like sweeping and romantic and like, yeah. No, Michael, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was the moment that Forge came out and told Storm that he was behind the device that caused her to lose her powers. And so her being, you know, you let the government, and she slapped him. Like that was my favorite, that emotional, messy dramaness.
Fair. T.S., what was your favorite scene?
Baby, everybody's favorite scene is the same thing. Like that whole scene with Forge and Storm, and the whole thing. Like the whole thing. And even when she fell back, when I was confused on what's going on, like maybe I was like, okay, maybe this is a dream, or maybe this is like, you know, she's about to get her powers back, like she's about to tear this bird to pieces. Like I love that they left me in suspense. I love that, because now it makes me want to be like, girl, where is Wednesday?
You know, I loved that. And because I like the weirdness of it. I like that you kind of don't know what's going on, but then it like bites Forge. And that's when I was like, wait, I don't think this is a dream. Cause like it bites him and like he's a little bloody and throws him to the side. And
not only bloody, but like injected. He's got like the spider veins. Like there was something injected in him or something.
So I liked all of that, which I know this is like, I had so many people messaging me to be like, because I love Jubilee. Jubilee's, I just, as a kid, I wanted to be the kid hanging out with the X-Men. So I like wanted to be her. I also, which is so silly, because she reminded, like I was bratty and, you know, liked bright colors. I also thought she was Puerto Rican as a kid because I was like, oh, she's like me.
Rick, honey,
Oh,
Rick, honey, Rick, honey.
I promise I wasn't baiting you for that.
It's okay, you got it. Rick, honey, Rick, honey. Ooh.
But so as a kid, I always thought I was like, oh, she's like around my age and we're both Puerto Rican, like blah, 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 blah. And so I had so many people being like, oh my God, did you love the Jubilee episode? And I was like, yeah, I actually love the storm part more, which is like kind of off brand for me, but
Well, here's the thing though, we loved it more because it had more emotion to it. Like that, yes. it had more emotion. Like it was like we were invested in what's going on because we are really wanting to know where's her powers.
Yeah.
We see Jubilee doing all the things, and then we see Jubilee meet older Jubilee. But now the kiss between her and is his name Roberto?
Yeah.
Roberto.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, all right, girl.
I was like, good for you. Good for you.
You're not a young girl anymore. You're about to be a grown woman tonight on your birthday. He's about to make you
had that room all to herself.
Listen, what grade do we give the episode? Michael.
I would give it a B+.
All right. TS.
B+.
Adam.
That was gonna be my grade too. Yeah, I think also like I guess in the context of the last three, but also I think just B+. Like, but honestly, like a B+ on this show is like a on
right
a
on
lot
other
of,
shows.
right? So yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah. I was gonna do B, but I think you all convinced me B+. Because Adam, you said this in text when we were texting about this. How like it's kind of a filler episode, the Jubilee stuff, but it's not a bad. There's nothing wrong with it being a filler because
I called it a B-side track.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
B-side, where it's just like, okay, it's cute, like it's good. It's those little tracks.
Yeah.
It's those little Cowboy Carter interludes.
Yeah.
In there, but you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna get to the.
Don't get me started on Cowboy Carter now.
I was no, but listen, I'm trying to like the little.
This ain't Texas, woo!
Yes, but I was like, but this was going into from like daughter into spaghetti. I feel like we were like hitting spaghetti there at the end. But
I agree with you though. There's nothing wrong with having one of those episodes after.
No, we've been all crying for it. Like like this was great to just kick again when this season wraps up and we're gonna wait another year or whatever for the next one. I'm gonna be rewatching this.
Yeah,
one. I'm gonna be. Yeah.
I hope it ain't a year.
This last weekend.
6 months.
I want 6 months. Yeah.
Please.
So thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube. You can watch all of our recordings. I'm doing video recordings now. You can watch them all on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can support us on Patreon, where we are going through Buffy Season 3 for its 25th anniversary and Batman the Animated Series. If you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98 on all social media platforms. If you want to follow me, I am at IanXCarlos. Michael, where can everyone find you and your Buffy tombstone?
You can find me everywhere, all across the social medias, Blackgaycomicgeek. I always say things I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic. So
yeah,
join me, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blackgaycomicgeek.
TS, where can everyone find you?
Honey, I am T.S. Madison. Google me, bitch. Baby, you'll find me anywhere you want to. I'm like Visa. You can find me anywhere you want to.
Adam, where can everyone find you and get your books?
You can find me all over the internet at the Adam Sass, and that's Sass like sassy. And you can get my books wherever you buy your books. But yeah, this is my most recent one, Your Lonely Nights Are Over, which is a Scream meets Clueless slasher. They are all young adult books about high school kids, queer high school kids. Some are romance, some are scary.
And I have not shut up about Your Lonely Nights Are Over since I read it. Was my favorite book I read last year. It's, as a huge Scream fan, I got Gail Weathers on my wall. I can say that it is very Scream meets Clueless. It's very.
If you want a slasher, it'll fit your bill.
I love me some horror.
The three of you, this was a blast. I got to say, everyone was very responsive. And even in my Patreon Discord, people were very excited. Like, oh, this is a really good group you got together for this episode. Like, people were very excited. So thank you to the three of you. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, y'all.
Bye.